Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to all of you around the world who are joining us today at the webinar hosted by HeartTank. We're going to start in a couple of seconds. I hope that everybody can hear us and see us clearly. And before I warmly welcome our guests, I'd like to introduce the topic for today, which you can see on the screen right now, which is matcha tea, coffee, cocktails, and more. That might sound intriguing, but the main purpose of today's webinar is to present you the importance of cold drinks on the growing trends of the market, beverage market in general. We're going to discuss why are cold drinks getting so much more popular than in previous years, what are the trends behind that, what are the best methods to create cold drinks, why is cold brew particularly good way of making cold drinks, and how is HeartTank able to help you entering or improving your cold drinks menu and portfolio. If any of you couldn't join us or can't stay until the end of the webinar, we're gonna record it and you're gonna be able to watch it or share it after the webinar is done. So we're gonna start with introduction, our speakers for today shortly, then we'll go through the webinar's content, and in the end, of course, we will have a Q&A section. So don't forget to write down your questions on the chat, specifically by the end of the webinar, so we don't miss them. And there will be one more surprise at the end, but let's wait for the surprise until the time comes. Okay, so without further ado, let's us introduce our speakers for today and let them do it themselves. Anna, hello.
Hi, hello. Thank you for joining us today. So my name is Anna Serova. I started to work with coffee when I was 17. At 18, I won the World Coffee and Good Spirits Championship, and preparation for this competition actually made my career. I decided to do coffee mixology. So basically, I'm like bartender, but my alcohol is only coffee. So here today, I want to be practical. I want to be useful, in a practical way, and I will share some experience and tips with a cold brew coffee, tea, and nitro drinks.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us today, Anna. It's really a pleasure. And the second speaker for today is the guy that you probably very well know, because it's, well, not the first, not the second webinar we're hosting together with Chris, who literally just came back from Colombia. Hello, Chris.
Hello, everyone. My name is Krzysztof Barabosz. For all of you who doesn't know me from the previous webinars, I'm one of the co-founders of Hard Beans HeartTank, responsible for the R&D development and, of course, also coffee. That's why I came from the producing country, just to check out how our coffees are performing there in Colombia and Brazil. Also, some judging some competition for the coffee producers, but today let's speak about the versatility of HeartTank technology and the usage of this technology among different other products than only coffee. So welcome, everyone.
Yes, Chris is also one of the inventors of HeartTank technology, so he'll have all the answers to even most difficult questions regarding this part of today's webinar. And I'll also introduce myself, but for some reason the slide doesn't change. I don't know if the slides are changing. And yes, here we go. So my name is Maciej. For all of you non-Polish speaking people, don't worry about pronouncing my name at any occasion. I know it's difficult enough, but I started in coffee in early 2000s as barista, then a trainer, consultant, ending up as one of the co-founders of Hard Beans and HeartTank, and now I'm responsible for our global sales of our cold brew solutions. So now that we all know each other, let's jump to the topic of today, which are the cold drinks. Let me just know if the slides are changing, because on my screen they do not change, unfortunately, and I want you to be seeing them. But I'm not sure if they work. Yes, okay, we have some delay, but we don't have to worry about that. So we're gonna kick off with the cold beverage market trends. Okay, so I'm gonna start with a brief introduction and analysis about why are cold drinks gaining so much popularity these days. Well, there are a few most, I would say, important non-coffee drinks that are dominating the cold drinks landscape. The most recent and the most popular right now is matcha and matcha latte. It's booming in popularity to the level in which there is a shortage of matcha in Japan, and there are also other countries like China or Vietnam manufacturing this kind of very finely ground green tea. That boom is driven by Gen Z and also social media trends because of its incredible green vivid color combined with other ingredients, creating some really beautiful combinations. And now it's valued at over $4 billion globally, and this trend is really lifting off. We can see it by the number of inquiries we're even getting in our company, which we'll get to later on. A second trend in the cold brew or cold drinks sphere is iced tea. Because consumers want less caffeine, and tea provides less caffeine kick, more flavor diversity, and also health benefits. Tea, in example, contains a lot of antioxidants, among other great and beneficial ingredients. And tea is also generally cheaper than coffee, especially during those high C prices days, which means that you can sell it for the same or almost the same price as a cup of coffee, but the food cost or beverage cost in that case is way cheaper, way lower than the one of coffee. And then the third, and my favorite one and the most interesting to me personally, is the trend on mocktails. Alcohol consumption is falling to its lowest level in 90 years. Last year was the lowest consumption of wine ever recorded globally, in example. And over 60% of consumers would like to drink high quality alcohol-free drinks, and you probably can see how quickly this trend is picking up, with all the mocktails even being available at the supermarkets. So why are those consumers, our consumers, are changing their preferences? Their demand is changing. Well, cold drinks are more popular than ever. In 2023, Starbucks reported that over 75% of all of the drinks they sold globally were cold. Whether it was coffee, tea, lemonade, whatever it was, 3 out of 4 cups sold by Starbucks were cold. And that trend keeps up until today. And over 60% of consumers would also like to purchase their drinks based on their healthiness. They want beverages that contain no or less sugar, have less additives, contain natural ingredients, and also contain functional ingredients, an example that boost mental performance or our physical performance, an example. So basically, we are not only looking for the price, we're not only looking for the brand, but we're also looking for the performance and the value behind the beverage. And then, on the contrary, another trend that is very present right now on the market, which frankly surprised me when I was starting to be noticing it, is that there is for a contrast, indulgent trend on the market. So the fact that those young consumers, some of them choose healthy and all the wellness related drinks and products, but the other part of the consumers, they just go for indulgent options like sweet caramel latte or strawberry matcha latte or whatever it is, because they would like to treat themselves in the difficult times that we all live in. That's at least what our market analysis are telling us about the reasons of such phenomenon. And That all combined tells us that there is more and more opportunity than ever for cold drinks. For many reasons, I even didn't even mention the climate change. It's getting warmer and warmer for longer and longer. So it's a natural thing to get cold drink instead of the hot one. So, what are the different formats for modern cold beverage service? So just to simplify it, if you run a coffee shop, if you run a chain of these, or a bar, or you're a roaster and you'd like to help your clients to be growing the business and diversifying it possibly, how can you enter the cold drinks market in maybe a new way that you never thought of before? We're going to quickly discuss it. And let's start with the RTD format, which might not be the first choice and the most obvious choice when you're thinking of serving cold drinks, let's say in your cafe. Why, instead of making cold brew by yourself, would you decide to create a line of ready-to-drink products and offer it to your clients? Well, there are a couple of reasons to do so. And they will be corresponding with your business model depending on what the business model is, whether you run a coffee shop or whether you have a e-commerce store, you're a roaster, maybe you're a hotel, etc. But what RTD gives you is allows you to diversify your brand because you can work with different kind of clients. You can distribute the beverages in new channels. You don't only have to rely on selling at your point of sale, whether it's a cafe or a hotel bar, whatever it is, but you can start offering those products with your brand, with your quality and values in it, to clients like supermarkets, vending machines, convenience stores, petrol stations, e-commerce, etc., etc. Everywhere where there is no chance of creating drink on site, but you can offer a similar quality and have a brand extension everywhere else. So that helps you to diversify your business because you can sell it in the much more distribution channels than the one that is your specialty. And also, if you're thinking of selling RTD drinks, let's say in your cafe, well, you don't have to prepare those drinks on site. So your labor costs are cut, consistency is much better, you are flexible with ordering different quantities, and for different places of operation, that might be a way to go if you'd like to introduce cold drinks or cold brew, but you don't want to hassle, you don't want a machine for it, you don't want to make it by yourself, you don't have space for it or expertise or all the things combined. You can just offer a ready to drink product, so you have cold brew but you don't have to make it by yourself. But it's not only about the RTD, because majority of our viewers, you viewers here, and us in the coffee industry or beverage industry or hospitality industry, going even broader, would think of making cold drinks on site. And now I'm giving the stage to Chris to tell you how you can make cold drinks, specifically cold brew, with Hartang to get the best out of your ingredients.
So, like Maciej said, you can go the easiest way. So, create your own ready-to-drink recipe and have your product in a canvas. But we know that in many cases, coffee shop want to experiment, want to brew, want to prepare the product in the place, and the customer sees that it was made fresh and just by the order. So, with that, we came out with Hartang cold brew solution, which is way faster than traditional immersion brewers. Here you can make your cold brew below 1 hour. In some cases, especially with natural processed coffees, you can go down even to 20 minutes per batch. So you can get 4 liters of freshly brewed, delicious and clean cold brews within 20, 30, 40 minutes. But what's most important here is that using our accelerated cold extraction technology, which use the recirculation process to speed up the extraction, not only you can use coffee. And here we open a book full of recipes, because you can make your a delicious iced tea herb beverage. But what's most for me curious and interesting is that you can even combine coffee and tea. Meaning you can grind your coffee like a baseline sweet natural Brazilian coffee, but then implement some maybe citruses or red fruits or dry fruits, some pineapples, and in that case enhance the flavor profile of your beverage. That's one. So in the morning, you can experiment with tea-based variation, a coffee-based variation. During the day, you can make tea and herb lemonades, which are very healthy. And at the very end of the day, for those generation who still likes to try cocktails, you can make your pre-batch cocktail, and that's quite important because nowadays finding a good mixologist, a good bartender, experienced one, it's quite costly. And then um, making more cocktails, it's also a lot of labor, manual labor. But with hard tank, what you can do, you can make a pre-batch cocktail. So you can make your own co-infused old-fashioned or Negroni or other like gin sour, whiskey sour, or you can make even your own coffee liquor further used as espresso martini. So with one small device, one technology, like the small hard tank, or even the big one, which is capable to prepare up to 250 liters per day, you can create a very wide range of beverages. So that's hard tank. The second thing is, okay, I've made my 4 liters of cold brew. How should I serve it proper way? We also ask this question, and we were working on this system for a very, very long time. So how to make from the design point of view, a traditional tap system that solves all the challenges we have in a coffee shop. Other systems like we need to have a external nitrogen cylinder. We need to have a regulator. We know that not every person behind the bar likes to set such equipment because for them it may be risky. Then especially when we make cocktails, that's where the ingredients are quite expensive. We need the consistency and we need to minimize the waste. And thanks to hardtap and built-in digital dosing, we can program the taps to be sure that each and every time by manual selection, the tap will serve a right amount of liquid we want. We can also infuse it with a foam, nitrogen from the atmosphere, and select the volume of the foam. So if someone wants a plain cold brew, he can serve it cold. But if someone wants a foam cold brew, like nitro foam cold brew, then it's matter of selecting the tap. I think the biggest advantage of this device of hard tap is the automatic serving profiles. So we can save up to 4 different profiles for 4 different beverages that will be connected. We have 2 taps, so at one time we can have like one tap with coffee, second tap with tea, or one tap with tea, other with cocktail, or if we want just to have one beverage but served with foam, so with nitro and without nitro, we can program one tap with foam and the second tap with nitrogen. Of course, if you like old school way of serving, that's also possible because those taps can be digital, meaning it can be programmed to a specific dose of beverage, but also can be used manually. That's why instead of putting a button, we decided to preserve the traditional tap that you can serve it the old school way. So that's something which is new. Already, this system was presented on trade shows. We have some units around the world for the first trials, and we are getting ready for the first production batch of hard tap that, combined with the hard tank, gives you an ultimate cold brew solution, not only for a coffee, so for coffee, for tea, for cocktails, and mixing in between. And I believe that the best person among three of us to discuss the capabilities, possibilities, because we say that like hard tank is limited by our imagination, and Anna's imagination is way wider than ours, and she created very magnificent and wonderful products. She will talk about it very soon. But last tips for you guys when you start to work with hard tank, especially make sure that you fill out the basket up to the top. Here, that's quite crucial to get the proper extraction, because we cannot rely fully on weight. The weight depends on many factors like roast degree, uh, processing method, varietal, and depending on how dark you roast or how light you roast, or you will need less coffee or you will need more coffee. That's the first thing. So with hard tank, we fill the basket by volume up to the top. Why? It's similar with espresso machine because water is lazy inside the basket, meaning it will always search for a spot with least resistance. So if we have only half basket or three quarter of the basket full of coffee and the one quarter or half basket is empty, the water will be unfortunately going through the empty spots, uh, giving us not an efficient extraction and also not clearing up. Because when we fill up the basket up to the top, accordingly to the rules, we will have a self-filtering system, meaning the coffee will filter itself from the small fines that are also always produced after drying. Second, quite important part.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, Chris, I think we taking the part of Anna's to go ahead. She's well prepared with all of the tips for beverage production.
Okay.
So
Sorry. So I did you my technical ones.
Yeah, you stole my wind, you know. But it's
no,
okay,
so
KK.
Sorry for
Anna
that.
is our as Hartank ambassador and a super experienced Hartank user. I think we'll have much more to tell every one of us how to make the most of Hartank technology for any kind of cold drinks you'd like to prepare. And then we'll also share some of the recipes she created to underline and present the versatility of this technology, because the purpose of today's webinar is to show you that cold brew is not just about coffee. And like I said, Anna is the best person to jump deeply into the world of different beverages. So yeah, Anna, take care,
Thank you.
and go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much. And Chris, thank you for stealing my wind, but okay, I will manage. Speaking about creating beverages, I want to be useful here. So I will share some tips and experience, as I said earlier. So my motto is to make things the usual way, but just a little bit better. So you take some idea or something that people are used to and make it just a little bit better. So here I think matcha latte is a good example. So just imagine matcha is some kind of strange green drink with a taste of grass and salt, and somebody put it in a simple form of a latte. And now we cannot imagine coffee shop without iced matcha latte. So this is like the first thing that is really important. Then, so Chris told you about the basket and the grind size, and also even about the flavored cold brew. I will speak about flavored cold brew and make some examples. So you can add natural flavors like zest, flowers, spices directly into coffee and then make cold brew. And you will have balanced cold brew with the actual taste of a coffee and really nice aftertaste of the ingredient you put. Then you can use it to make different beverages like flavored iced latte or lemonade like cold brew coffee. So my favorite combination is coffee and cinnamon. You take approximately 5 to 10 grams for a small hard tongue baby basket. And then you can add just a little bit of cherry juice into this cold brew, and you will have the flavor of a cherry pie, like in Twin Peaks, in your glass. Speaking about the tea, so I love to use Hartung for tea because I think the cold brew method and the tea made for each other. So basically, the first thing, you cannot over extracted tea with a cold water, and also cold brew method preserve all these delicate flower notes that you can lost in hot brew. Hot brew, yes. But there is some problems actually with a cold brew tea because it got like very short shelf life. And here's the tip for you. You can use hot pre-infusion method. So basically you take the basket, you put tea, then pour some hot water, and only after it drained, you took the basket and put it in a hard tank. So this way, first of all, you remove all the dust from the tea and also make extraction faster. The main thing I like about hard tank that the extraction of a tea in a hard tank is really fast. So for high quality Chinese or Japanese green tea, 10 to 15 minutes is enough. And for HT, tisanes, red tea, no more than 30 minutes. So just imagine 15 minutes and you've got like 4 liters of a nice cold brew tea with all aroma in it. Could we go back to the coffee slide? Archie. So let's speak about the cold drinks with the cold brew. So we made a perfect batch of a cold brew. What should we do next? From my experience, for customers, cold brew is just a black coffee that happened to be cold. For coffee shops selling only cold coffee, it's not always so profitable. So that's why I'm making drinks with the cold brew to make customers more familiar with the cold brew and to make these drinks more profitable for the coffee shop owner. In coffee mixology, we use espresso, and we use espresso because it's strong and we can dilute it. We can dilute it with the milk, juice, or tonic water. The cold brew from hard tank, TDC of the coffee from hard tank is similar to filter coffee, so it's very, very light. So here we should do the opposite. Instead of diluting it, we need to add something that is really concentrated, like concentrated milk or juice, syrups, herbal extracts, or just sugar. So it also got a really interesting impact in a coffee shop economy. So just imagine, to make a cappuccino or ice latte, you need the fridge full of milk, and to make nitro ice latte, you will use concentrated milk. So you need just a few cans of concentrated milk, so less storage space, less waste, and the price is lower. Let me share with my go-to recipe for trade shows. It's simple, it's stable, and it's always a hit. So you need to make a cold brew coffee. You can see the recipe on your screen right now. And then for every liter of a cold brew, you need to add 90 grams of concentrated fruit juice. And result is, and then you can use nitro system. And the result is a really nice black coffee with a fruit flavor, unbelievable texture, and round body. If you ever will use this recipe, here's the tip for you. Don't go too obvious. So for example, if you're using Kenya is berry-like coffee with a nice acidity. Do not add like cherry juice or blackcurrant juice. Think about it more like a fruit salad. So if you've got something sour, acidic, bright, add something sweet and round. So for Kenya, my favorite combination is Kenya and peach juice. Also, you can use nitro cold brew coffee as a base for a lot of beverages. For example, my favorite client in Cyprus, Cafe Vagmi, I made a menu for them a few years ago. So I just took nitro coffee and then added few different preps which we used to make lemonades, and created 6 different beverages. For example, my favorite one is cranberry and mango nitro latte. Oh, nitro coffee, sorry. So it's concentrated cranberry juice, fresh mango juice, and coffee. Fruity, round, sweet, but not too sweet. Really refreshing. It's really, really good. So let's talk about the tea. What can we do with the tea? So my recipe and my tips for doing the cold brew tea is first you need to define the quality of the tea. It's quite important. So for high quality tea, it's better to use from 7 to 9 grams per liter. And if you use commercial tea, you need to apply full basket rule. So the basket should be full. Then, as I said earlier, extraction of tea is quite fast in a hard tank. So you need to start testing it after 10 minutes. And don't forget about hot pre-infusion method if you need it. Okay, so how can you use cold tea, not only like iced tea, but in other ways? My favorite recipe is you take 9 grams of high quality jasmine, Chinese jasmine tea, like Molly Huan. Then you brew it, so 9 grams per 1 liter of water. And after you add sugar, 1:1 ratio, and you get the simple syrup, jasmine simple syrup. You can use it for cappuccino, iced latte, fruit smoothies. Then you can add a little bit of acid to this syrup and you will have cordial. You can use it for cocktails, lemonades, and other cold drinks. My favorite recipe with jasmine cold brew tea is Japanese style soda. Tastes almost like kombucha. So jasmine tea. Then I'm adding a little bit of white vinegar and then concentrated white grape juice. Then I put everything in a siphon, and it's really nice. Sharp acidity, refreshing, and incredible flavor combination of the jasmine and a grape. Also, you can add some spirit, gin or vodka, and it's really nice cocktail. So as you can see, So as you can see, cold brew opens a completely new world of flavor techniques and combination. And I hope my tips will be useful for you in the future. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Anna. That was really amazing to see how differently you can approach cold brew and cold extraction using Hartank. We already have plenty of questions for the Q&A section. So if you would like to ask about anything, now it's high time to hit the chat and send those questions to us. But before we finish, I'd like to share a surprise with you, the one that I've promised. As you know, we are offering a wide portfolio of RTD private label recipes, which mostly, but not only, but mostly contains coffee and tea from Hartank cold extraction with your branding on it. And just recently, we have finalized and now launching matcha latte in the ready to drink format. So if you'd like to capitalize on this new exciting trend that we all think and hope it's going to stay with us for at least a while, you can now order your privately labeled matcha latte, which is made with genuine Japanese high-grade matcha oat milk and can be branded. Available in 200 and 250 ml, shelf life stable in room temperature. We now share samples with everyone who'd like to order it. So if you're interested in that particular product or anything else from our RTD or equipment portfolio, don't forget to let us know after the webinar, and our sales team will be more than happy to assist you along the way. So, now, having said all that, we are ready to address the questions that have come up during the webinar. I see the first one, very interesting, from Georgi. How about more information on the grind size? The AeroPress is a bit of a broad term, and the question is whether Hartank grinding setup is similar, like a single serve V60. And I think, Chris, you will be good a person to respond to that. How should you grind your coffee for Hartank?
Actually, a good starting point will be approximately 450 microns if we want to be more precise, or if you work on a EK43. A good starting point is approximately 5.56 on a scale to 12. But also it depends on coffee. So you need to know that like darker roasted coffee while grinding, because of more porous structure, tends to create more dust, more fines, meaning you can slightly grind it coarser because you will have those small particles in a basket. But when you work with lightly roasted coffees, especially washed ones, they tend to be more hard, so they produce less fines, meaning that you can easily go on a finer side of your particle size. So I would say for washed coffees, light roasted coffees, approximately 400 microns. For darker, 500 microns, but the good starting point is 450.
Yeah, and I think that it's important to mention that grinding for Hartank, when we talk coffee, is way different than those usual super coarse instructions for cold brew, because everywhere you read in the internet, when you read some cold brew manual, how to make cold brew traditional way, immersion in a bucket, etc., almost every place will tell you that you need to grind your coffee very coarse, coarser than French press, which by the way also is nuts to grind super coarse for French press. But anyway, everybody will tell you in those old school content manuals that you should grind super coarse, which completely doesn't work in Hartank, because as Chris mentioned, hard tank is based around a little bit of pressure and recirculation. So the coffee has to build resistance in the basket, right, to create this self-cleaning environment. So you would have to grind much finer than those traditional cold brew manuals would ever tell you. So yeah, enough on technical stuff, but well, we have some more technical stuff also about hard tank, and there is a question from Croatia, from Elvis, our partner in that country. Hello, Elvis. Good to see you, and good to see you with us. And the question is how to use matcha powder with the baby hard tank. And well, I don't know, Anna, if you've tried to use matcha powder with baby hard tank, and what do you think of it? But we did, and we have some feedback on it.
Yeah. So go on. I will share my experience later.
Okay. So, well, I would say honestly that for matcha, you don't really need hard tank or any other extraction device all that much. Matcha is a powder. It's a powder that you dilute but do not dissolve in water. All right. This is how much different it is versus coffee. In coffee extraction, you dissolve the soluble content from the ground coffee and then take it to the cup and then filter coffee grounds. Right. In matcha, you take your finely chopped tea leaves, you put them into the water, and you leave it as it is. So at some point, they will just fall down into the bottom of the glass. This is also one of the biggest challenges in producing matcha latte in an industrial scale as an RTD product. But when we talk baby hard tank, Chris, you've been doing some tests, but as far as I remember, you don't really need hard tank to dilute matcha powder in water, basically, because all you need is to just throw it into, mix it, done. This is how you make matcha traditionally, and this is how you make it as a cold drink. So this is one of the few products that do not require any specific extraction, at least in my experience.
Yeah, actually, when you put matcha into the basket, once you start the program, the matcha will be outside the basket and will stay outside the basket. So basically, you use your hard tank as a blender or mixer, which doesn't make sense, actually, especially that, like, in terms of matcha, the whole essence of matcha is to drink and, like, have experience with those small particles, the powdery, small micronized particles of green tea. So actually, you can serve it maybe with a hard tap, but you need to be very strict with the filtering system. But for extraction, matcha is quite easy to use without any equipment. But you can make any additional syrups, extracts, and add-ons to matcha using the baby hard tank.
So speaking about matcha, you need to make emulsion, not like extract the matcha. So that's why we use this whisk to make this foamy stuff. And if you want to make a big amount of matcha, you can use blender, you can use hand blender to make it. Like big tea places in States use just a general blender to make the matcha. And also you can use cold water. So cold brew matcha in a blender, it's really nice thing.
So long story short, you don't need hard tank to make your matcha latte. Okay. Well, there is a question about hard tap, our recently launched product. Is it safe to serve some cold brew drink with a type of milk with hard tap? Thinking about the cleaning of the equipment, or should I mix later in the keg? Chris, you are an expert on microbiology, so I think you'll have a clear answer here.
The safest way is to mix it afterwards, so not before. So serve your plain coffee and then add your milk or oat milk or whatever type of milk you are using. Especially that we use, and we made some trials not only on hard tap but also other systems, is that when you combine it together before serving, the shelf life of your coffee, of your cold brew, is getting very short. So instead of like 1 day or keeping in the cold, or 2 days, even keeping in below 5 degrees Celsius, once you add those oat milk or cow milk, dairy milk products into the cake, and then you serve it, you will spoil the beverage quite quickly. So my recommendation is to serve clean coffee using the system, and then add the milk later on. Or if it's needed, you can serve it, but afterwards you need to be sure you use a good sanitizer, cleaning agent, to flush the whole system, pipelines inside, to be sure no residue, especially from dairy milk, will stay in the system.
Yeah, that's important. All right. Thanks a lot for that clarification. Do we have another question from Anna Sofia? Do we have any recipe suggestions using dried fruit with the baby Hartang? What works best? Anna, you've mentioned a couple of tips, so you can just rewind once again. Which dried fruit would you recommend for which types of coffee in Hartang?
So you can use any type of dry fruits with alcohol to make alcohol infusions. So I don't know, black cherry with a goji berry to make a really interesting flavor combination. Speaking about the dry fruits and coffee, so you can use some kind of, I don't know, smoked dried fruits to make interesting flavor profile, and then making some kind of latte with it. But generally speaking, dried fruits and cold brew somehow doesn't work together, because coffee has much more flavor than dry fruits. Or you need to put a lot of fruits, and then you will have weak coffee.
That's a valuable piece of experience with dried fruit and cold brew. There is another question. Did you maybe try it with nitro dispensing from Elvis from Croatia? But not sure what are you referring to. You probably refer to matcha latte dispensing, right? So if that's the case, like Chris has mentioned, that's fine with our dispenser, as long as you have a proper filter equipment on the line and you clean your machine thoroughly, because we need to remember that matcha has this powder in it, and even if you emulsify it as well as possible using a blender or even emulsifying agents such as lecithin being added to your beverage, it's still gonna separate after some time, and it is crucial to keep the purging daily cleaning protocol for any kind of dispenser you have, if you don't want your hoses and valves all being sticked with green powder and then becoming green glue. Okay, so some more questions we have from Geralt. Can I use adaptogens directly in Hartang? Like, for example, can I make mushroom coffee? Well, the simple answer is yes, you can add it to your coffee. It should dilute if it's powdered. We've been doing tests like that, and depending on the kind of your raw ingredient, it might work or might not work. But in case of the powder that is soluble in water, such as powdered MCT oil, an example, that should also work. Basically, and I think this is the best representation of what you can't do in Hartang, is that the only limitation is your imagination. So I think there are less ingredients you can't use than those you can use. And in terms of the do's and don'ts, Chris, what are the no-goes for the Hartang technology? What ingredients you shall not put inside of the machine? We already know about dairy milk because of the microbiology, but anything else you know for sure we should avoid?
Yes, in terms of the baby heart tank, when you play with alcohol beverages, your maximum percentage of alcohol or ABV should be 60%. So we are not recommending, and even saying harder, we are not allowing to use the baby heart tank with like clean spirits, like 95, 96% of alcohol, because that may be risky for some elements inside, but up to 60% it's safe. Secondly, simple syrups, very sticky, syrupy, dense syrups. Rather, I recommend to put to implement afterwards, after brewing, into your keg or collecting vessel, instead of pouring it to the hard tank. If you put like a little bit, let's say 50 milliliters or 100 milliliters per 4 liters of simple syrup into the device, nothing will happen. But here, the crucial part is that if you put too much of sticky, syrupy, sugary liquid into the system, and you do not run a proper sanitation program with a good cleaning agent, then alkalic cleaning agent, to be sure, keep it in mind, alkalic, not acidic, then there is a risk that throughout the time there will be a buildup of sugar crystals on the paddles once the device will dry, and that may disturb the efficiency of the pump. So if you plan to add any syrupy, sweet, sugary products, I recommend to add it afterwards, after the extraction, or if you need it within the extraction, inside the extraction, then not much, like 50 milliliters, 100 milliliters.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Chris. So switching from hard tank to the RTD field, there is a question from Luke, who asks if we have any recommendations of flavors to target with your private label drinks. Well, it's the only way to answer it is I can say it depends. Well, majority of our partners, they are either interested in pure black coffee, to underline the terroir of a given coffee bean. So that's the first and the most popular product, simple black coffee, period. But we also now see an increasing amount of inquiries for two types of beverages. First, being functional beverages. So any kind of a cold brew coffee or tea that contains some additional ingredients that boost your mental or physical performance, such as L-theanine, adaptogens, electrolytes, vitamins, etc., etc. This is a growing trend, but the most I would say interesting and popular is the matcha latte. This is also the reason why we have launched this product just now, because I would say that probably 80% of the inquiries we're getting for the private label RTD for the last 5 to 6 months is matcha latte. Everybody is so much into it. It's a hit. It's a boom. And I believe it can work very well also in the places that are seasonal, because this product is not as seasonal as iced coffee. You can serve it mostly all year long, and it's a very indulgent product, but in the same time it doesn't contain too much sugar, flavorings, etc. So you can combine those trends, healthiness and flavor in one product. So this is something that really lifts off these days when we talk on the choice of private label flavor. There was a question from Claudio, who was asking, let me pin this comment, who was asking about the recipe booklets. Do we have something like that? And guess what, Claudio? Anna, who's one of the speakers for today, has actually prepared a booklet like that some time ago. It's a beautifully edited PDF with Anna's signature recipes that you can download from our website. If you can find it, hit us up. We're going to share a link with you. And this booklet is really something. Anna, can you tell a little bit more about it?
was made after a few trade shows, because we make a lot of beverages just to show what can you do with a hard tank, and then we decided to share it with everyone. I think that's it.
Okay, so I highly recommend you all downloading it, because it's really a valuable piece of knowledge and inspiration, presenting you how much you can make with Harting. And I think we shall be wrapping up with this conclusion that not only cold drinks are on the rise, but also cold brew is one of the best, if not the best, way of preparing cold drinks. And you don't have to limit yourself to thinking that cold brew is just coffee. Cold brew is way more than coffee, or even just coffee and tea. And luckily, we also have technology that makes cold brew easily, quickly, conveniently, and allows you to dispense that cold brew as well. And for all of you wondering or asking about the upcoming host show in Milano, Roger was asking, are we going to be present at Milano? Yes, we will. Chris and two more members of our team are flying to Italy for that huge show. Chris, can you tell a little bit more about the details of your visit? When will you be available for the meeting?
We will be at Host Milano from the day 1 until Sunday, so from 17th until 19th in person, me, Vidin, and Marcin. In terms of the devices, we will not have our own booth, but you will be able to see our devices on our partner stands, like Latte Art Factory, Fedco USA, or EMS. So we will be there supporting them. There are plans to make some coffees. Also, there are plans to make some cocktails in the afternoon. Most probably, we will run also a hard tank masterclass session at the Latte Art Factory scene. They will have a quite huge booth, which is interesting for all you guys. Not only a hard tank will be there, also hard beans coffee will be on all Latte Art Factory machines. So if you're keen on what we roast and our coffees, that will be also available at Host Milano. So reach out to us via WhatsApp, via Instagram, and we will be there. So most probably see you very soon in Milano.
All right, thanks for that, Chris. So I think it's a wrap up. Thank you so much, Anna and Chris, for co-hosting the webinar with me today, and thank you all of you viewers for taking your time and listening to us. If there will be any further questions, like Chris have said, reach out via Instagram or email or WhatsApp, and we will be more than happy to share more details about our products with you. And I think that concludes today's webinar.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so
you,
much.
Anna. Thank you, Chris. And thank you all joining us today. See you at the next webinar sometime soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.